Hello, spirit friends. Welcome to my channel where we will be keeping a Jeep so you can rise and be awoken and no longer sleep. And today's topic is going to be about time isn't real. And I picked this topic because a lot of people believe that we just have a lot of time to do everything. You know, you have a lot of time to actually live. You have a lot of time to, get your mind right, in order to navigate life. You have time for those things, but it just depends on how serious at that point you take your time, with whatever you're doing. And if you have an agenda on when you're going to get something done, you got to, section those things out and, have a plan. And to get into the topic for question one for keeping the Jeep, is time really real or is it just an illusion of control? 100% time is definitely an illusion of control. Time is actually to keep you under that umbrella that, that's not really even there. To even go to work, you have to be there at a certain time, in order to be on a certain job that you have an agenda, you get this so and so on amount. At the end of the job, the apprenticeship, you go through all the classes and everything to actually, do the job. And they give you a timely manner to get it done. It may be 60 days, it may be, 1 week. But in reality, if you're a serious person and you get the job done anyway, and whatever you do, time doesn't mean anything to you because you already wired that way. You already, then got hooked and programmed with the time that they have given us. And that's why in certain instances, time shouldn't be pushed so much, because if you are hiring someone for a certain job, it should be somebody you feel trustworthy of anyway, to get the job done, because when you start putting stipulations on certain things, sometimes, people feel rushed. They feel like they got to hurry up, and a lot of things could actually be more, beautiful and more secure and, more advanced than it already is if time just wasn't a thing for the job, So, yeah, to get into question two for keeping the Jeep, if time is believed to be real, how is it possible for it to be pushed forward and backwards? Yeah, y'all gotta know something. That right there, that question, just right there, just that question alone shows how much time really don't exist. And you actually do have time to do certain things, but you gotta be serious, I feel like once you break that mindset of time is just based on you and your efforts and how serious you're going to take whatever you're doing, and you actually build self-control, time doesn't matter to you because you're already wired to be self-driven. People that give these people these jobs, and even us when we are workers for these certain jobs, these entities, they don't believe we will get the job done and come to work or whatever it may be if time wasn't available and told and programmed to us in order to do it. They don't believe that, so in reality they got a whole bunch of people working for them that they really don't trust, so that's where the time becomes a control thing. If these guys don't do what we say at this time, I got it out for them, or I'm sending them home for the day, or we're gonna let them go, so at the end of the day, if they do decide to do one of those three things, it was on you, because you have to be self-driven. Question three for keeping the Jeep. Who discovered time? At the beginning of time. Beginning of time. Time don't just come out of nowhere, Time does not exist. Evolving does, Over time, as they say with the word time, evolving with time, they say, evolving happens, so things evolve. Once you start growing this right here, you start to change up things and switch up things and switch up, the way you operate and the way things that you create, exist in your life and your reality. You start to move around things. So that's really the only thing that exists. Time is to keep people structured and controlled the way that they want you to be, So yeah, time doesn't come from anywhere. If you look it up, time was not created by anyone. It's not an invention. It's not an invention at all. It's just something that they say, they don't really know where it comes from. So basically, it's just at the beginning of time, it was always there. Question four for keeping the Jeep. If time was so legitimate, why wasn't it used in super ancient times of life? Ooh, that's a good question. Because they didn't go off the control. Wasn't nobody being controlled and tamed and held basically hostage to nothing that they were doing. Everybody was just free for all. Everybody was finding themselves. Everybody was growing, as a collective. And basically, when they wanted time, when they went for time and wanted to know the time, they looked up, you know, in the, as they say, the stars and the sun to see what direction, it was facing and where the sunset was ending and coming to. So with that being said, everything was more off their knowledge and their own abilities. And I feel like we lost that because right now we in the times of programming. The TV's programming, time is programming. Relationships are programming you to where when you move on to the next person, you think that same, the next person you're dealing with is the same as the next one. I mean, the old one. So yeah, we've halfway through the questions. That was it for question 4. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe and, leave comments. Let me know how you guys feel about what I'm giving you guys because this is all food for thought. I want you guys to get you guys juices flowing, get your mind racing. Question 5 for Keeping It Jeep. Since we all have been programmed to time, do you guys think it's possible to ever learn how to live without it again? I believe we can. We can learn to live without it again. But the programming is top tier right now. It's going to be a lot of work that got to be done in order to reprogram because all it is wiring. All these connections in our mind and the way we think and operate a lot of these times is out of default by the way that they wanted us to do, to be. It's not because we chose to do certain things and we okay with the things that's going on. We became accustomed. We started to feel like we don't have a say-so, but we really do because guess why? You're your own God. You're your own controller. It's like having your own controller in your hand, but instead we got hands. We don't need a controller because we already, with this right here, we navigate life. So in our mind is the inside of that controller, and we got to know how to rewire these things that was given to us. Question 6 for Keeping It Jeep. If time was to cease to exist, do you guys think it would create more free-minded people or even more fearful human beings? I think a little bit of both. And I'll tell you why. It will create more free-minded. Let's go with the good. Usually people go with the bad first and then you get the good. I want to go with the good first. It will create a lot more free-minded people. Actually, it's already happening. The free-minded people is actually doing the work. They tired of being locked in to something that they really rather not do. They tired of worrying in their mind and driving themselves crazy and being on edge all the time and going through cycles repeatedly with new entities and all these different things. So they actually starting to wake up to become more free-minded and get on their journey. Not a journey that was given to them or was told from your mom or your dad that, hey, this job is hiring. No, you look for your own. Whatever that fits you. That way when you're doing it, you don't feel drained because somebody told you should do that. Don't spend 3 or 4 years to a job that somebody told you should do or told you that they was hiring. It doesn't make any sense. But I done did it. We all done did that, a lot of us. So those are the people that's tired of that, that's saying no more. I got kids now, I want more. I'm one of those people. It will create more fearful people also. Because you know why? It's more people already too fear to break that cycle that was given to them. You know why? Attachments, scared to let go, scared to start over. I was that too. Still teeter-tot between that. But I'm getting it. I'm getting somewhere. Because I'm not letting my mind trick me no more. Because that programming, it is little pieces that's wires. You gotta catch it when it happens. They try to trick you to think that, man, you tripping. I wouldn't do that. No, bro, you good. Where you at, bro? No, you're not. Fight that feeling. Fight that mental. Because the more you fight it, the more rewiring you're doing. Question 7 for Keeping It Jeep. Is time really being used against us every day to limit our lives? 100%. That's what it's meant. to do. You know, that's why they put a date and a time to it. How you gonna keep going back and forth on time? Is it real or is it not? They put it right in front of our face, going back to what? Question 2? If time is so real, how they keep going back and forth? Time should stay the same no matter what. Time shouldn't be different in another state and city. It should be the same. It don't make sense. But we try to make it make sense because guess what? We're programmed. We was told. Just like when you read in the Bible, they say don't question the Bible because you're questioning God. Okay, there's some logic there. But what about these other people that's forwarding and backwarding the time? You can't question that either. No, we can't question that. You questioning God. You questioning the controllers. The ELITEs. You questioning them. But those are the ones you should question. And if you got questions with that book, question that too. Whatever you feel, whatever floats your boat, because you your own God. You your own God. Question 8 for Keeping the Jeep. If time never existed to you in your existence, how more unlimited would your life be on a day-to-day basis? It would be so unlimited. I'm just answering for me. I don't know about you guys. I hope you guys say the same thing when it comes to unlimited. But it would be so unlimited because let's go back to a child. Let's just start there. Child don't know nothing about time. And this is so deep that my daughter, still today, phone can be right by my head and our heads if she's sleeping with me. And she don't wake up to that alarm clock. You know why? Because she's not programmed. That was deep. She's not programmed. That shows the difference between programming. When I hear that alarm, I wake up. It's times where sometimes I forget it is ringing, or I get up and do something else before cutting it off, and she still don't budge because she's not programmed. And it's up to us to break these cycles now, to not have to teach these same programmers that you should get a job and you should do this and that without her feeling whatever she feels before she decides that. Because believe it or not, we program our kids too to the wrong things that they taught us. It would be so unlimited because going back to that child you don't have any limitations. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I hope this wakes somebody up when it comes to time, because I know a lot of people have questions about time, and I hope I answered a lot of those questions for you guys. So with that being said, well, that's all I have for you guys on today's vlog of Keeping the Jeep. An open mind should evolve and consciously teach.